Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we have a USA-made OTF that is pretty affordable. So for a great budget, this is a Boker Plus, made in the USA, Burnley OTF. It is in D2 steel with an aluminum body. Very well done aluminum body. Deep carry clip, but you do still have a little something to grab to pull in and out of the pocket, which is really, really good. And we're going to get to the action and all that here in a second, but let's take a look at this blade. And I also want to talk about how I found this. So, beautiful satin. I'm not, too excited about the D2, but I also understand and what this is for. I think D2 is perfectly fine. Just keep it nice and oiled and you'll be just fine. It's almost a stainless. Not quite a stainless, but it's almost a stainless. So you're going to want to take care of it and make sure, you don't put corrosive things on there like lemon juice and, certain things without washing it off. Or, oiling it. But if you oil it, you'll be fine. Oil it every few months, you'll be just fine. Now, this is rather thick, but most OTFs are. Most OTFs don't have really good geometry. They're more made to be, for, poking, stabbing type things. And if you need to cut something or to use it, like this, then you can still. It's just not going to be something you grab for long-term cutting. Or repeated cutting over and over. It's make the cut, put it back type of tool. Now, the reason why I got this was because I was looking for USA-made knives, the best USA-made knives under $100. And I'm trying to put together a video. We'll see how it goes. It's very difficult to find under $100 USA-made knives. Now, the aluminum body on this is nice and smooth. Great coating on it. It doesn't have that powdery feel. It has more of the smooth feel. Great ergos. Very comfortable in the hand. The button has great traction on there. When you go to deploy it, it has a good amount of resistance without being too strong. Now, it's strong enough to where you're not going to accidentally deploy it. You're not going to fire it off in your pocket. It will not fire off in your pocket. The strength of the button is just too strong. However, it's smooth enough and easy enough that you can easily do it with the pointer finger. Now, because there's a lot of traction, you just use that traction to push it up to here. And once you get it up to a point, because it pushes back, so you get it up to that point, and then you just continue pushing forward, and it will spring out. Same thing with the back. See how it'll spring back? You have to get it all the way to that point, and then click it through, or push through. And it works great. Very reliable. It has a nice strong spring to it. I can feel it getting stronger and stronger as it breaks in. And like I said, it's never going to fire off in your pocket, but it's good enough to where you can easily do it without, slipping or it hurting your finger, because some of them are so strong that they can be almost difficult to deploy and get closed. This is very easy while still being safe. Hidden or lanyard pin back here. I like how the clip is inset. It has a nice look to it. Not only that, but it's also going to be nice and smooth in and out of the pocket. Nothing in the way to catch on. The screws are flat. It's inset. And that's awesome. I'm glad that they did that. This is very well done. I can't deny that. I did put a little oil in it just to do it inside the mechanism. Now, you can see they have star bit hardware. So if you're good at taking apart OTFs and maintaining them, then you can do it. But I don't advise it if you're not good at it, because they can be very difficult if you don't know what you're doing. Although you just not, as long as you keep the mechanism oiled, you should be just fine. Now, with these, they have the spring, and a lot of people think for some reason that if you deploy this next to something, it will stab into it. But that's just not true. So what happens is it stops. So it'll just stop. Now you have to reset it. There's two ways you can reset it. One, you can just grab the blade and pull it out, and now it's reset. Or you can flick your wrist really hard. And that's relatively easy to do. You just give it a good flick. So really easy to get back into action. Now back to the under $100 USA made knives. Just a really quick discussion about it, because I'd love to hear you guys' opinion on this. I am still going to put together the video. However, this is a video I want to be proud of in a way. You know, I want the knives to represent good quality USA made knives. And I don't want to just put anything on the list. I'd like them to actually be the best USA made knives under $100. Now, I know a lot of you have already written Buck 110 down in the comments. No. Not that the Buck 110 isn't amazing. Of course, it's iconic. I mean, if I was going to put the most iconic knives in 2022 of the best, yes. But that's a knife that's been around for like 50 years or something like that. That can't be the representation of where we are in 2022. That's a great quality knife, don't get me wrong. It is a lifetime, long-lasting, great knife. But in 2022, we're doing better knives, right? And I'm not saying that that's not a great knife, but we're doing knives with better fit and finish, better action, better steel, better materials, better everything. And I would like it to fit that type of category rather than say we haven't progressed in 60 years or 50 years or whatever, right? Because we need to. We have to be the knives that should be in this list should be knives that are a great representation of where we are in 2022. Now, I know that in all reality, our price point is above 100. So our great knives start at 115 technically. So it's very difficult to find something under $100. Now, there was a couple years ago some great knives for that list. The Kershaw Bare Knuckle, the Kershaw Knockout. Now, their prices have went up, and I still think that the Bare Knuckle, that's a great option for this. Now, I'd like to get away from, I should say, Speed-A-Safe. Now, why? Why don't I want Speed-A-Safe on the list? Not saying it can't go or one can't be on there, but I don't want the whole list to be Speed-Safe knives because Speed-Safe assisted knives makes it to where these knives or the company doesn't have to put so much care into the detents, fit and finish, and action because a spring does it. I'd like to think that the knife has an amazing detent and build quality to where they don't need a spring to make it deploy. And like I said, I'm not saying one can't be spring assisted, but in 2022, man, you don't need spring assist. You just don't. Knives have the ability to open up just as fast as an assisted knife without a spring in it. And then it's easier to close. And quality knives, usually good quality knives don't have springs unless if they are an automatic like this. So since we know now we don't need, knives don't need to have a spring to have good action, and especially for the price, I just think we can, I hope we can do it. I hope we can find, or I can find a good list to represent the USA and where we are in 2022 without going over $100. Now, the list would be fantastic if I was between $100 and $150. A lot of people don't spend more than $100 on a knife, and I'd love to be able to give them the best list for that price, for under 100. I'd love to do that. Without it being Buck 110s and assisted knives. However, it seems like USA Kershaws are the best USA made knives, but their launch series, which are automatics, they're not necessarily manual knives, they're over $100 now, which is crazy. They were under $100 before. Now they're over $100. So basically, the launch series is not going to be able to make it onto the list. But I don't know. I know there's some other knives out there like this. I can't believe this is only $130. This is a fantastic knife for around $130. This is amazing for that price. Well built. Now, yes, there's a little bit of rattle in the blade, but that's how OTFs are. You can get $1,000 OTF and they still have a little bit of play, because in order for the knife to have good deployments in and out, it needs to have that. So I'm not ever upset at an OTF that has a little bit of that. That's standard. There's only one OTF that has perfect lockup that doesn't have any rattle or tap, and that is the G&G Hawk Lock. So, and that OTF is very expensive. But yeah, that is one that does not have any rattle. So it is possible, but it's difficult because, you want these parts to move freely without breaking, over time. But anyways, there you guys go. Sorry for all the rambling. I love you guys. Peace.